Hi, today is March 3rd, 2021. The first leg of the CFA Level 1 2021 exam just got concluded on 1st of March, a couple of days back. I believe that it must have been a very unique experience for most of the candidates because this is the first of its kind. Now, as the thumbnail suggests, today I'm going to bring in an interesting topic, albeit a little controversial one. I'm going to talk about prep providers, but not the genuine prep providers that I have covered in my last couple of videos. Upon request of few of my audiences, I decided to cover few of the prep providers whom the audience had actually inquired with me. So having done so, I was literally aghast to see the kind of proliferation, the kind of con artists, dupers, scammers are flooded in the market, and how they market themselves in social media like YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, etc. So I'm not going to name them, but I'm going to leave certain pointers to all of you. And basis my analysis, there are four groups of them. First is the proliferator. Well, this is basically the ones who would offer you CFA or FRM prep providing at a abysmally, ridiculously low rate, for as low as that of $70 for a 6 months live course. Now, why I say this is ridiculous and abysmally low is because you have a market leader in the form of Kaplan Schweizers, which has a pedagogy of 60 CFA charter holder. Do you believe that in their capacity they could offer a live class of spanning over 6 months at 60 or 70 or 100 US dollar? I don't think so. Now the moot question is not even that. The moot question is not even how somebody is offering at 100 USD and yet making money out of it. But what I found out was that none of the pedagogy out there in that particular training center had a CFA charter to their credit or an FRM charter to their credit. So their whole and sole purpose is somehow to ridiculously dilute the market. And I fail to understand that in today's generation, when every information is available at a click of a mouse, why would anybody fall to such a bait? Now, the other danger part of it is that other than the quality being compromised, these kind of prep providers will also lack on the foundation of knowledge, and there will be certain conceptual error as well. And those conceptual error would pass on to the prospective CFA candidate as genetic defect. The second group of con artists that I'm going to name are the imposters. Now, I'm going to quote an example. The example is that of Mr. David Harper of Bionic Turtle. In my LinkedIn timescale, I happened to see one of the posts of David Harper when he talks about a particular gentleman based out of Calcutta. He's running a training center for CFA and FRM for last perhaps a decade or so, and how he manages to steal the courseware of a Bionic Turtle, market that courseware including the test series, the mock exams as their own, without giving a single iota of, without giving an inch of credit to Bionic Turtle. And this blatant plagiarism is not only limited to him. There is one more prominent provider in Calcutta, which openly and shamelessly follows through Kaplan Schweizers, teaches through Kaplan Schweizers. Nothing wrong in that, without giving the due credit to them. So, is this ethical? The question out here is no, it is not ethical. Because as a CFA or as an FRM charter holder, we are bound by a certain code of ethics, we are bound by certain standards of professionalism. When we renew our membership with the respective institutes, we also have to attest that we have not violated any of the standards, knowingly or otherwise. So on these counts, both of these prominent prep providers based out of Kolkata failed miserably. Now, I'm not going to name them. I'm sure that if you do a little bit of searching for yourself, you'll find. And I have had the privilege of interviewing few of the student candidates of such coaching centers. And what I found out was that the main faculty, they get angry when they're challenged or some difficult questions are being asked. Now, one of the reasons that I can think why it is so is because they themselves would have passed a CFA or an FR exam some time back, and yet they have rested their laurels on that without having the motive of upgrading themselves, while the CFA and FRM CFA and FRM curriculum undergo changes every second or every third year in a quantum leap. So if you're not keeping in pace, or if you're not keeping in touch with the reality, you would resort to such kind of plagiarism. You would be cocooned in your comfort zone, and you would be ultimately be stealing somebody else's courseware. So this is the second category of prep provider which you need to safeguard yourself against. The third is, and I believe the most dangerous of the lot, is the seeking alpha category. Now, this category of con artists, prep providers, scammers, dupers, whatever you want to call them, these fraudsters have a typical modus operandi. Most of them have a demographic profile of within 21 to 30 odd years of age. They're tech savvy. They would upload a jazzy video on YouTube and other social media. And what they're not going to, they would not talk about any educational contents. They're not going to talk about curriculum. All they're going to talk about is forming a WhatsApp group and Instagram group where they will be delivering and distributing free material. And at the same time, they explicitly talk about giving a guarantee of clearing FRM exam, clearing CFA exam at one go. I mean, the top prep providers in the world, they cannot give you any guarantee whatsoever of you passing. They can perhaps tell you that what has been their past record, what has been their track record, and what is the probability that you may or may not succeed these exams given certain constraints, given certain covenants, given certain methodology that they would want you to impart. But these rookies, when I'm talking about, they shamelessly, will publish videos on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, talking about forming a WhatsApp group, talking about forming Instagram. They themselves are perhaps level 1 or level 2 candidates, 20, 21 years old graduate, have zero experience as far as real world is concerned. I have got nothing against that. But that is not only a clear misrepresentation of what CFA stands for, but it also leads the probable candidates, the prospective candidates, astray. Okay. The last category are the ones whom I call them the charlatans. The charlatans are lesser of the four evils. Why I say so? Because they openly admit that they are not CFA charter holder. They are not FRM charter holder. So is Professor Mark Meldrum. He is not a CFA or an FRM charter holder. Yet the entire CFA community, gives him a godlike status because of what he has done. If you go through the YouTube content of Professor Meldrum, he has more than 1,100 videos uploaded. Some of them are pertinent to the contents as well, not the peripheral videos. Now, the charlatan, where they actually, they distinguish themselves, is that they do admit that yes, they do not have the pedagogy of CFA or FRM, and yet they have embarked upon the journey of teaching and training others. So what they do is that they actually learn at your cost. That's what they do. And what actually scares me, what actually also exasperates me, is that some of them are qualified chartered accountants, and they mismarket, they lead on the candidates by saying that doing CFA is going to be a piece of cake, because just because you have done your CA or you're in the process of doing CA, so it's just putting the F between C and A and that's it, voila, good. It's that simple as that. Save yourself from them. So I really didn't enjoy doing this video, but I think that this might help the prospective candidates in making their choice. I have already uploaded the best providers. I have already given you guidance, but it's at the end of the day, the decision has to be yours, and you should be making an entitled and informed decision. That's what my objective is. And if any way I can help you, I'll be more than obliged. And a parting shot. It took me more than 6 years of training, over 3,000 candidates, helping most of them successfully pass their CFA and FRM exam. It took me 2 decades of work experience in the real world, half of which had been into investment banking space. It took me more than 5 years of doing corporate training across the country in Fortune 500 companies. Solving the financial riddles, solving balance sheet problems. That today I have the courage, I have mustered the courage and the confidence to come in front of you and make videos so as to elucidate if it can benefit you anyway. So I hope you will be able to understand what I tried to say and where lies the difference. Thank you, and I sincerely hope that I don't have to make a video of this kind ever again. Thank you very much.